Okay, let's see what we can do here. I think it's ready to trim, and I'm going to trim it on the bottom, I believe. So I'm going to define that little spot a little better with my popsicle stick. This bottom part, giving myself a nice little groove to fit the needle tool into. Do it on both. See, that doesn't fit in there anymore since it shrunk. I guess I'll have to turn it. Okay. So I'm holding the tool at a slight angle and just letting it ride along there. I think I'll slow this down because these things do sort of go flying when they turn loose. There it comes. Okay, so this is what you have. It looks a little rough right now, but we're going to clean this up, trim this out. So sometimes if you don't have a little knob on top, you can just set it right in here and get it pretty level and trim it out like that. Let's see, where's my trimming tool? I made a new chuck for for trimming these, or for trimming anything that's got a little knob on the top. But I may not need to use it on this one. Let's trim this one too. Okay, so let's see how that fits so far. So we need to take a little more off of the outside of this. Let me see how this would fit on my chuck. Pretty good. I think I'll hook that up and give it a try. There. Okay, so this see, I don't want to flare this out too much right here, but I can compress that edge a bit. Get that right there. Okay, let's see. Here's my lid, and here's my new chuck. I don't think it would work so well in there as it would on the top side, putting it on there like that. So let's see what it's going to take to hold that in place. Maybe it would be these guys. I haven't used this since I cleaned it. And let's see, right there, I think. All right, let's put this on. I have a little slot right here. I have a little slot right here on these things, just so that I can take these off and on. Otherwise, I would just have it in one piece. Okay. This is just greenware. I just threw this. Haven't fired it or anything yet. Let's see if this will hold it in place. Okay. It looks fairly level. Okay, so let's turn the juice on and let's take a stab at guess I'm going to need to dampen that. And that'll help it stick. I don't want to put clay under there because I don't want to mess it up, but I may mess it up anyway. Okay. Okay, let's see if it fits. Getting there. Not quite there. So you want to take this down by small increments. And that's getting further in. Yay. So that you'll have a snug fit. It's just not quite as outstanding a piece when you're finished if the lid of it, you know, jangles around. So let's see what happens now. Ta-da, ta-da. So now we're talking. So that fits very nicely. Sometimes this will fit better in one spot than it does in another, and you can take something as you're trimming it and make a little mark right here and make a little mark opposing it on the lid so that you can well, you'll see in a minute because some of the decoration that I put on there sort of helps to get it in the right spot. So I probably ought to make that mark lower because I'm going to trim a little bit right now. So I'm going to put one up here. I'm going to trim right around this area. I'm going to use this trim tool to just even it up around the, so watch this spot right here from where you are. Oh, it's kind of neat. Got a little indentation there where the lid comes together. Oh, darn. To make the little registration buttons or marks, I just take a little bit of clay and roll it into a really small coil, probably no thicker than about 1/4 of an inch in diameter. Maybe even smaller than that. I use a straw to cut the little things out. So I'm going to flatten that out a bit, like so, and then find a straw. We'll use one of these. Well, let's use a smaller one than that. We'll use one of my Tombow straws. This is a QT straw. For those of you in the southwestern states, you'll know what QT is. So I'm just going to cut a couple of those. It's like cutting cookies out of dough. So I'm going to take the first one. It's a delicate little process. There's the first one. I'm just going to set it there. Here's the second one on the end of my finger. So take our little scratchy tool, our little tool that has little wires sticking out of it. So we're going to scratch, 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 scratch. I always dip it in water because that usually delivers about the right amount of water to stick this. So this clay is so wet I probably don't need to scratch it. So there's one. And there's the other one. If I use the straw to do this, it kind of makes them at least the same amount of clay. And that way I can use my brush to finish them up and make them look nice and smooth. So there you have it. So there, when you've got a couple of little added elements to your piece that sort of make it interesting, and it helps when you're, let's see if I can lift this off. I can't get the lid off. There. It helps to register the lid back into the same place each time. I don't know why people like to measure or match those up, but they do, and they think that's cute. So you could put two more on this side. You could put, it doesn't have to be little dots, it could be little squares. It could be little anything, any little thing. Get those in there.